All right, good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. All right, good morning, and we're going to be going through live order flow analysis using Bookmap. The goal here is to understand how traders are participating in the auction process. The only way that they can do that is via their orders. They have to. It's the way that people participate. So if we can understand their order flow, what they think of the markets, then we have an edge. And this is where Bookmap shines. It can read that, it can understand that by putting the data on the chart, and we can decipher what's going on. So that's why we're here, and to take advantage of that edge. Let's see. The process is the same that we use in the Bookmap Academy. If you're interested in the Bookmap Academy, over here, there's no cost to it. You can join and request a spreadsheet, and you can actually get Bookmap for free when you post and with quality one a day of a trade markup. And if it's quality, then you can be invited to the Bookmap Academy to get Bookmap for free. So anyway, the things that we look at here, what's moving the market? Now, we can answer that one today. Like, there's a ton of geopolitical stuff going on, and that's moving the markets. And we want to understand what's going on higher time frames. That's where there's going to be more reaction from other traders. So these two things, 1 and 2, are critical. Number 3 is understanding or developing scenarios and strategies with 1 and 2 in mind. If we can do that, then we finally get down to our setup. So let's go through an example. We're bearish. There's geopolitical tensions. The key levels we'll take a look at here. If we come up to a key level, well, then we want to understand the order flow up at that key level, and we're looking to fade that move, not looking for a breakout and a move back into the range. Okay, so that's a very basic scenario, but then it comes down to our setup and selecting the right setup for that. So are we looking for a reversal, or are we looking for just a quick move down? What is it? And then just a quick scalp, and they would be different. Depends on your time frame. It depends on a lot of different factors that are personal for each trader. Going through 1 through 4 here. All right. So anyway, that's our process. And the Bookmap Academy is included in the Bookmap Academy is Bruce's pilot program. It's a subset of it. It's much more focused. This is about building an edge, because this is the number one thing that I have found after talking to so many traders, that they don't know if they have an edge or not. And that's really concerning. This is why I think most traders lose, and they don't know how to build an edge. They don't know what it means. They all hear it. We all hear you need an edge, but what does that mean? We have a process here that has a structure that you can go through this process and build an edge for yourself. This is the fastest method I've seen if you follow the steps correctly, and it's not that difficult. Anyway, this is also included with your Bookmap subscription. There's no cost to it. So if you're interested in this, you'll just need to sign up. And let me show you where you can sign up. If you go to bookmap.com and you click on the More button here under Community, here's the Bookmap Academy if you want to read through that and sign up for that. And then Bruce's pilot program is here underneath it. Okay, and you can sign up for this as well. Now, again, you will need to have Global or Global Plus. It's just, that's it. How can you not do this without Bookmap? All right, so there's no cost to it once you have Bookmap. All right, let's move on. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. A risk disclosure, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, we'll jump in here. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Now, before we jump into the order flow in here, we're going to go through our process that we just outlined. Number one, the impetus moving the markets. Okay, so let's actually take a look at our bigger picture candlestick chart here to begin with. All right, so we have a daily candlestick chart over on the left, an hourly in the middle, and a 15-minute here on the right. Okay, so in the daily, this is a big day. Look at the move outside of all of this here. This range has been pretty big whipsaw back and forth, big moves for months now. And we've been kind of watching and waiting for it to retest these lower areas in here, retest, and then break. Okay, we got the break today, or last night, and the move down. Where are we looking now? Well, a market has to. I mean, this is a big move, right? If we look at the ATR of this move, it's going to be pretty big, and we need to understand now what the order flow is like for continuations. Okay, because you can see, look at this big candle here. Okay, this is where we opened up here. Kind of moved up earlier to 6,700. It failed, did not fill the gap, and then we see the big move down, and then we see pretty big candle on the move back up as well. Now this is for the day. This is from last night, and this is the candle it produced for the day. Now if we look at the hourly, now we can see the gap because I have it for 9:30 to 4:15, and you can see the gaps in here. So we gap down. This is where we opened up today in the cash session, and you can see that we kind of went up a little bit and then came right back down, and on the hourly at least we made a new low in here as well here. So we can go over the 15-minute chart and take a quick look as well. Let me have a few less bars in here so we understand a little bit better. Okay, so where's the momentum? Well, I mean, the momentum is to the downside. There's no question. And this is an island gap in here, as you guys can see. So yeah, we're going to be looking for more sellers and retest some of these lower areas in here. Now, that said, we're going to go through the different scenarios. We need to understand like the different scenarios in here. What if we come back down into some of these lows in here? We just traded below 66.50 in the S&P E-mini. And what if it rejects? What if we come back up above 66.50 and we see tons of buyers? Well, then we look for the first stop or retest back up to 66.76. Then the next one would, well, probably where we opened, and then where the high is. So, you know, in this kind of area in here. And we need to see if there's still interesting or interested buyers to take it higher and maybe fill the gap in here. Or maybe we just come up to some of these areas in here, can't get any further, roll over, and then go to lows of the day. All right, so we're starting to go through some of the scenarios in here. So we kind of covered very briefly the geopolitical. It's a big week of data, so note that on your economic calendars. You know, we have a CPI, we have durable goods, we have consumer sentiment, and preliminary GDP. Okay, it's anyway, we have different political speakers, we have geopolitical tensions, there's a war going on. Any of these things can flip the market quickly. So that is the environment we are in, and that is the risk that we take being in this environment. Okay, this is important to understand, because otherwise, why would you know, everything might look good technically. You might be, wow, my setup's perfect, I'm in, and then everything just goes haywire. Okay, just understand this is the environment we are in right now. And some of these moves can be very, very severe. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're getting stopped out, then I would recommend stepping back, going to replay mode, maybe go into sim, widen your stops out. How can you protect yourself? Okay, risk wise, bring your size down a lot. All right, so anyway, you can make a ton of money in these kinds of environments as well, but like I said, it's news driven, and we don't know what the news for geopolitical stuff, it changes, all the time. Anyway, let's jump in here, and let me get to some of the questions, and then we'll take a look at some of the order flow details. Okay, Alois, yeah, I'll get back to Mayhem. I didn't see this question yet. Let's see. Good morning, Laura, Alois, Stephen. Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back. It feels kind of weird being back after, a lot of these kind of big price movements, and you kind of feel a little out of shape or something. Anyway, we'll start from the ground up and just kind of build the confidence in the foundation here. All right, so what do we see in the order flow right now? Well, here's our big move down, and this is the weekend gap in here, as you can see, and you can see this is the retracement back up. This is the wick that we saw, and on the daily, right? This was last night at 10 p.m. And at East Coast time. For those of you unaware of the time change, you probably are pretty aware if you're in this webinar. But we have daylight savings now in the U.S., so it is now 10:20, and European time is still on the regular clock time. It will change in 3 weeks or 20 days or so. It's like the 29th of March. That's when they'll change. All right, so be aware of that, and we have to be aware of that due to the London close. Okay, because during this webinar, we end right at the European close at 11:30. Well, that's not going to be the London close at that time. It's going to be 10:30. Right? There's going to be an extra hour in there. So we have to be aware of that and understand the different order flow during different times of day. Okay, well, anyway, really nice move to the downside, breaking that range. Look at this, all of this high liquidity last night filled. And then we see a kind of reversal take place in here, back up and above this, right here at 66.50 basically. And we're still kind of hovering around that area right now. But this is a beauty though. This move down is tremendous, but look at all that liquidity. Okay. Now, for those of you in the pilot program, you guys understand what that is, and if we get this transition from sell side to buy side, that's where we're looking for a move higher, and this is where order flow can really help you, because we know this is just fact that there's a lot of buyers getting filled in here. Look where they are, below 6,600. Okay, above and below, around that area, that zone, that becomes the key level. Okay, so here it is. That's our key level, right? And it happens to be the figure, big figure there. Here's the half figure here, so is a 50-point move, and we have a zone there. And we can take a look at this. Now, what we're talking about here is market structure. This is really, really important thing to understand for trading, is the market structure. Okay, so back and forth movement and understanding the moves, but then it really boils down to, why do these moves take place? And you can look at the order flow to give that answer. Okay, so for example, this move down into all of this liquidity in here. And now this a scenario that we need to understand. Is there still more aggressive selling? The red dots in here, are there still more sellers? Okay, well, we come down in this area and you can see that we don't find any here. We break, if we zoom into that area, you are going to see a structure break here on a trend line. Okay, you're also going to see a little horizontal structure in here break as well. You can trade that if you like. That's totally legitimate. You have to look for where your targets are. Maybe you'd be targeting up. Let me get to something a little bit better here. Hold on. Up to here, or up to the liquidity and the swing up here. Okay, now that said, what we're looking for, though, for this kind of reversal setup in here is this transition from sell side to buy side. Okay, so I know there's a lot of covering in here, so we're going to kind of not look at that for the moment. We're going to look at all of this selling, though, in here. And do I see a transition? Is this enough in here? Well, maybe if we zoom in here, maybe it is for a small move back up. In fact, that small move is about 20 or 25 points in the S&P, right? So that's not a small move. It's a nice medium-sized move there. Anyway, look where the transition does take place, though. And then this allows us, by understanding structure and order flow and transactions together, that is context, and that's what we really want to understand within this structure. So here's where you see the buyers coming back in, right? And what does it do? It breaks this structure here, and you can see it right here, right? And it breaks it, and it breaks it on volume. Okay, that's when we're looking for it to retest some of these other structural areas up here, the swings and the liquidity. Okay, there's liquidity here, there's some in here, and there's some here. That's when we get a pullback. Okay, after it trades up into that liquidity. Okay, now we're looking again for maybe continuation, or maybe we come up here, exhaust out, do not find any more buyers. Maybe there's high liquidity up in here pressing. And these are the scenarios we're going through, and we see aggressive sellers really come in hard, like big red dots in here. And if that is the case, then we're looking for this to be the target, or this to be the target. Okay, so we see this kind of pattern happen a lot. You get leg one of what looks to be a reversal, leg two fails, and we resume the trend. All right, now in this case it didn't, right? Instead we got, you can even see, like you can say this is a shoulder, this is a head, this is a shoulder, or maybe here's your shoulder. Actually that's not your shoulder, this would be your shoulder. Anyway, because this is the breakout. After this move here, now we know we have the you can look for that kind of break of the neckline or the trend line or whatever. It's down here, and we're looking for a potential continuation, and that does unfold here. This is not easy, in my opinion, to understand really what's going on in there. It is much easier once we start to see that these sellers in here aren't getting traction. And if we get some buyers up in here, we're going to look for a short squeeze, and we'd be targeting high liquidity on the offer, right? So anyway, just kind of going through our process in here, and looking at the previous price action earlier from last night and this morning as well. Okay, so now let's get caught up here to today, and then take a look here. Okay. Well, what do you guys see in here? I'm going to throw it to you guys. Here's 9:30. You see the buying, you see a sell-off, high liquidity here, high liquidity here below the figure, half figure. And then, but let's look at the volume bars in here, and we'll look at the volume dots within the structure as well, but look at the volume bars in here. Okay, it's kind of, in here especially, it's really just chop. Here we see it pick up, but when we see heavy selling come back in, we see heavy buying in here. We see heavy buying coming in here again. Okay, so yeah, I would look for, after seeing this in here, I would look for buyers to trade back up to the swing or high liquidity up in here in these areas. Now, what do we see now though? Okay, well, we see nice little impulse move here. Okay, just back up to the swing. And then we're looking for more buyers coming back in, and I don't see them. Okay, so I see it, this kind of big red sell bar here. I see sellers coming in, but the structure here is that selling is still within the bullish structure here, okay, where these buyers came in. And this is where they came in on this impulse move right here. So we're going to be watching that 55 level. But this is really where the bulk of that buying came in. This is kind of the zone that I'm looking at in here between 55 and 45 to see what might be unfolding in there. Because right now, this looks chop to me. Okay? I know this impulse move. I know buyers are in control in this small area in here, but it's pretty choppy. Like I don't see, I see this heavy selling coming in. In fact, there's heavy selling over here, and we're still within that range too. So the bigger range in here is chop, and for me, I'm not seeing clear direction. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right. A small breakout here. Let's see if these buyers can come back up and try to hit this 70 here. No. See that selling came back in here. I mean, it's just chop. It's hard to read and understand or look for opportunity with the back and forth of the buying and selling. And that's good. That'll keep us out. Okay, high liquidity at 60 here. Okay, buyers coming back in. All right, let's see if we can see this get a squeeze up here. All right, so buyers coming back in again. All right, I'm looking for these sellers to get squeezed and just to move up into 70 liquidity up here. That's it, right? And nothing more than that. Because I know there's some sellers here. I know there's some buying pressure in here. And I just want to see them get squeezed, and then I would either take some off or get out of the trade. And look for this liquidity to test, price to test it here. And we go back into pretty choppy action here, pretty choppy. We talked about this some weeks ago. When it gets like this, and we, like again, we're looking for that edge, that advantage, that order flow imbalance. And we had this liquidity in here, which did pull, and that doesn't bode well for us. But anyway, it's what did I want to say here? Right. If we don't see, this is what we were looking for at this move in here. Okay, we know we're in kind of a choppy environment, but we're looking for that move up into 70. Okay, and then it becomes choppy again in here. Okay, now I think I was away last week, guys, and came up with some really good ideas to cover chop with you, and how to handle that, because the market chops a lot, and that just erodes our edge. And when you see chop like that, you might just consider getting out. And your idea didn't work. Now, this idea still might work, right? It's still in play that we're looking for this move here to come back up here and trade back up into here, or maybe even we'll get up to 75, because now it's turning into even more sellers in this area, and they'll feel the squeeze up into here, right? So, but when you start to see that chop in here, like, you might just want to, like, it's something to consider, especially if you're new. It didn't do what you were looking for, so get out. Don't have it go against you. It's something to consider, and I would say, like, start like this. Start in replay mode, and start testing that, because if you're holding when you're not sure, it can do this in a heartbeat, and you can get hurt. And that's what we want to avoid, right? We want to look for something that is sure, and looks really good. Like right now, this is, this buying, this kind of impulse move in here, and it broke the high, looks pretty good. Okay. Now, where do those buyers come in? Right around here, 65 or so. If I get some more buyers up in here, I would look for the break, right? And to trade into our 70 level finally. But I think 75 is also a good target. Okay, so now we're getting better understanding, I think, with this here. Okay, now that said, it's the same idea in here. Let's go through a couple scenarios. The primary scenario is to squeeze higher up into here. Now let's just take a look at this though. Okay, so whoops, look at all of this buying in here, and are they getting traction? Okay, we're going to get our answer right now. Okay, because this is where it can get really interesting and get down below here at 65. And we start to see sellers down here. We're going to get a nice move to the downside. Okay, this is going to be an order flow event. It's going to be these buyers in here feeling the squeeze to the downside. Okay, right now we're squeezing to the upside. Okay, these are the scenarios we're going through. And go through these scenarios and have an idea of what you're looking for. Now here's our nice squeeze to the upside, and this was our primary scenario. Okay, is what we were looking for in here. Now it even went above 78 here. All right, now let's just take a step back in here and zoom out a little bit. All right, so what do we think about that move, this move up into here, order flow wise? In my mind, well, first off, where is the passive liquidity that's getting filled? Okay, I see some over here, right? Hold on a minute. I see some over here. There's a little bit in here. There's more down here that never filled. Okay, now there's a lot getting filled here passively on the offer. Okay, So again, this is a choppy environment. Now we might get a huge squeeze, huge, and come back up into here, right? Back up into maybe 6,700. We don't know, but this is a volume driven event here. And it looks to me like a lot of people kind of getting stopped out, and we do see some absorption in here by these sellers. Okay, so I would predict or look for more likely the move to come back down, back into the range here. Okay, so I will look for that as now my next primary scenario. Okay, so fading it on the outside here. And then looking for the move back in. Now, right now, it's clearly not showing that. In fact, it looks like a nice little bear, bullish flag here. To squeeze higher, back up into 85. Now, one thing we know about this though is understanding this context between buyers and sellers in here. There is a lot of liquidity that just got filled on the offer. These are sellers. Okay? The question is about the context of the aggressive buyers. Okay, they traded into it and it pulled back. We're finding more aggressive buyers. Are we still finding them? Yep. Then we look for 85. That's the next level. Then 88, 90 maybe. And where's the figure here? Okay, so there's a little bit of liquidity up there at the figure. Not much. Okay, so now as we're going higher, we're starting to look for, is there still more aggressive buying? And if there's not, that's when we start to look for the reversal or the move back into the range here. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit and let's take a look here. What are some of our key levels? Okay, well, we just crossed one here. There's one up here that we just kind of came up to. And then there's one up here as well. There's another one kind of zone in here, but I'll stay away from that one for now. Okay, so now we're looking for our exhaustion, which we just got some exhaustion here, and see the selling coming in. Okay, but we're looking for probably some back and forth in here for now. Okay, and some chop up in here. And then we're looking for the potential of a lot of sellers coming in, and then maybe down to some of the targeted liquidity on the offer. Okay, so here are our aggressors. They're starting to come in now. Okay, our sellers. And look at the reaction to this liquidity here on the offer. See how that skew in the order book in here combined with aggressive sellers, and we get a drop in price. Okay, we're going to look for that again in here now. Okay, right here, right at 76. Okay, don't see it yet, and looking for a target down here, likely 70. That's where we were looking for earlier for a breakout of 70, or move into and then 75. Right, so let's actually put a horizontal line here, and that'll be our target for this one here. Okay. All right, so we need to see sellers come in, and we're not getting that right now. See the buyers coming back in, lifting the offer back up into these areas here. Is this making sense? Understanding the this context in here, that if we're going to see a lot of sellers absorb a lot of that buying pressure, we should see some pullbacks, and then we want to see what happens after. Okay, so this is turned into like back and forth right now, as you can see. Good morning, Tom and Alois over. Oh yeah, we were looking at crude earlier, all last week, or not last week, the week before, and yeah, we can jump over to crude here, no problem. Uh, wow, up to 104. Yeah, we might jump over and talk about the crude in here because like this fits Alois. I'm kind of glad you mentioned that, and I did want to look at crude today, but yeah, the jump over there in a second. Okay, more buying up in this higher area here. Anyway, yeah, let's jump over to crude, and then what I want to cover here is this is what makes it so much easier, and especially for stocks. I think TD over in the academy was, he's looking at stocks, and we were covering some of his content on the Thursday meetings, and understanding the news event that's driving the price action, okay, the impetus behind it. And it's so much easier, I think, to understand that very specific news for very specific stocks, where these indexes is a little more difficult because there's so many things pushing and pulling on them. But the something like crude oil and the geopolitical concerns going on in Iran, I mean, in the Straits of Hormuz, like this is gonna affect the price of oil, and that's where we can go through, and I think it's much easier now. You know the impetus. Okay, now we're looking at key levels. Now we're starting to develop strategies, and you can easily look for your setup. Okay, when you have a kind of a clearer direction with 1, 2, and 3 in here, um, and that can give you a peace of mind, and kind of put yourself at ease a bit. You just need the order flow and your setup to present and take advantage of it. Okay, and when that does present, you have to be aggressive. You have to get in, and you know your setup. You've back tested it, so you know you have an edge. Everything else has presented itself. You filtered it through number 1, 2, and 3 here. You filtered it out, and that's really important. You will have a much higher probability of having a successful or a positive outcome. And then you just wait for the trade and mechanically act. Okay, so crude oil. All right, let's take a look here. Now, obviously, like over the last few weeks, crude went from like $70 on up to 104. And um, does it still have more juice in it to the upside? Well, maybe not now, maybe for the day, unless something we hear more geopolitically. Yeah, yeah. Crude is up $34 in the last 5 days. Yeah, it's crazy. And it was so that means at 70, so it's almost like it's like 40% or so, something like that, right? I mean, it was at 70, let's say 75, right? And then it's up 35, 34. Wow, it went up to 119. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Alois. All right, so here, let's just go with 77, like 34 divided by 77. It's up 44%. Okay. Now, where I'm going with this is now we know the impetus that's moving it. Now we're looking at our key levels. And then we're looking at building out our scenarios of like, okay, what are we looking for? What's going to drive it up into our key levels? What are some of the areas we're looking? And then it comes down to I'm looking for a breakout of some of these key levels to explore higher prices. Okay, and start putting it together. Okay, building out your scenario and then looking for the setup to support the scenario. Okay, let's take a look at this in here in crude. All right, let's just zoom out a little bit. And now I don't have the higher time frame here in crude, right? So we're just going to go off of what we see in here. And it's pretty back and forth. Here's some selling. Here's some buying. Back and forth, selling. Back up above, buying, coming right back in. And now we're coming back to revisit where those buyers came in this zone here, right? So this is our zone that we're looking to see if there's more support or more demand at this 95.50 level, okay, right around $100 currently. Okay, so let's just go through a quick scenario in here in real time. Here's our move to the upside, and it retraced all the way back down here. All right, so now do we find more buyers here above $100? Okay, starting to look for that scenario. I'd love to see it trade into this high liquidity here, but here come the buyers, right? Okay, I would look for these buyers to break this and trade it up to 101, okay, and fill that liquidity there. Let's see if they have enough to even take it back up to 102 and that liquidity there. Okay, once we get back up above 101 in here, we can go through another scenario. Look at all that selling. We can get back up above, then we should see buying up in here. Okay, some covering. All right, let's see. Do we see a transition in here? Some heavy selling in here, some buying starting to come in, and then a little bit of selling right now. It's really, this is not too convincing, this buying in here. Okay, but it sure is convincing over here. Right? Look at this whole area in here. See that buying in here? So, you know, this is a good zone to look for more buyers. Okay, just below the swing. And let's see. Guys, be careful with crude and the way that crude trades. It's its own kind of, you know, animal. Gold as well. And if you're used to just trading the stock indexes, you know, do some back testing and some replay trading, get a feel for it. A little more liquidity on the bid here around 100, so, and some up here as well. Okay, 103 or 130 cents here. Okay, so let's see if these buyers here can take these guys on. And you know, look at see how it's just 20 contracts. It's showing high liquidity as 20 contracts. It's 12 contracts down here. It's not a lot. These are thin markets, right? So it's going to behave differently. Okay, some good buying right there. Let's see if we can come back up again. Nope. Okay, if we get a nice retest back up here, then I think I will look for the break up into the higher levels of liquidity. Yeah, this is something like you see it in the NQ as well. You see it in the ES as well, but not as um, prevalent. And that is understanding this chop and liquidity in here. Like buyers trying to build a case in here and they fail. Okay, so this is really the pivot here at that 30 level. We're kind of looking for buyers back up above it and order flow to support that, meaning the limit orders in here. Okay, so we just traded into high liquidity here at 90, or it's not that high, but there's some liquidity there at right around 100, a little bit below. Okay, so now let's see if we get our aggressive buyers back up above 30 here. Then I'd look for a quick move back up to 60, and maybe we can get our breakout. Okay, we're not looking for big moves here at the moment. Okay, high liquidity just came into the book here, but was filled by the buyers. And so we're looking for a little bit higher. There they are. Okay, let's see it, buyers. Let's see if you can move this now. I think you're ready. And we'd look for the top of this range here at 57 or 60, and then the 75 level here, maybe 101. No, still not ready. Still chopping. Showing some interest though, some buying interest coming in. What I mean by that is this cluster in here. Okay, so now we've got some sellers trapped here as well. Okay, same scenario. We got to get back up above this 30 level here on buying. Okay, it's not happening right now. Okay, there they go. There's our big move. Okay, now this we're going to see this squeeze higher here. See how quickly that happened? You have to be ready for that. Sorry, I mean, like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just this is how it works. In a lot of these markets, these moves happen very, very quickly, and you got to be there for it. And that buying started to pick up, and like we see the sweep here. We see it again in here. So that was the opportunity if you were quick enough. We do get a small little pullback in here, and there's more again, back up into 101. Okay, now it's gone up a little bit higher, 101.30. Let's see if we can, let's zoom out. Let's just get our, bigger picture here. Okay, so that was a strong impulse move. Okay, so we can even look for our low volume pullback in here on the sell side. In fact, let me add in another column, and we'll turn that into a chart range. Okay, and let me widen these out a little bit. Okay, so it's pulled all the way back here to where it broke out from, even more. Okay, this is actually where it broke out from, and that's where it's being supported right now. Okay, right here. Okay, now let's see, do we get more buyers again? Okay, well, it's possible right here again at this level here, because these sellers need buyers back up above it here. Okay, pull back, and more buyers here. See it at around 67, 68. See if we can get that. And then a move probably back up to 101. Maybe the swing high at 101.35. Now this is moving like a small cap right now. So for you small cap traders, like you know the drill. 140 contracts up here at 102. Okay. Look at the shifts in the order book right here. So there's a lot going on right now. Look at that. Yeah, nice squeeze, Alois. Yep, agreed. All right, well, let's put our stops and icebergs on here in the sub chart. Gold, yeah, I've got gold we can take a look at as well. I think, you know, the heat map in gold has not been looking very good. Might be better to go with mini micro gold, but this looks more like, you know, the NQ on a very illiquid day. Look, 3, 2, 5 contracts. The most in the book is 18 up here. So, you know, the heat map it's kind of hard to read, but nonetheless, you look at some of these levels in here of high liquidity up here. It transacted. Okay, let's go back to crude. We'll go to gold in a minute here. I'm kind of curious to see if we can get another nice squeeze in here. Squeeze and a move. And you know, this kind of move and this squeeze in here, like I was mentioning with the small caps, this is, you know, you got to, you know, pull the trigger really quickly, and it's just kind of the nature of it. And the same for exiting. You start to see it build, and like, don't take the risk, you know. You don't want to get hurt. You want to if you start to see it like down here, starting to build. Okay, now how does that compare to like how it built over here to the upside? Well, we're starting to see some, right? So if it comes back down here and we see more sellers again, most likely we're going to squeeze down to 99.50. Okay, Alois, ES is fighting 7,600. or 6,700. Okay, we'll take a look. Then we'll take a quick look at gold. Let's see if this, I'm looking for this crude here. See what I mean here? Now I'm looking for again, it would be a very quick move and a sweep down into 99.50. And now, I mean, this is where those buyers came in and swept it higher. Maybe we'll find buyers again here too, but we'll be looking for that up here at this 150, and then for the move back up into some of these other levels here, right? Okay, let's jump over to the ES really quickly. Boy, I kind of forgot where we left off on the ES. Our key levels still are holding pretty well, like that we had marked up in here. Okay, so yeah, now we're back up above. And look at the stop runs here, guys. Okay, above 6,700, as Alois was saying. Okay, look at the swing up here as well. Okay, that's a lot of buying. Maybe we can squeeze on up into this area here, liquidity at 14, 15. And these kinds of moves, these kinds of days with the volatility, you might consider, bringing down your trading size. Get into the micros, you've got a lot of flexibility with the micros, and they're heavily traded, so you will get in and out. All right, let's jump over to quick look at crude. Oh, look at that. Okay, so crude did. So this is now look where it picked up though. Okay, this is the scenario we were just going through of it potentially picking up down here with the selling, and then the squeeze to the downside. Okay, so we got that. Anyway, we can go over more about this as well. I mean, is this liquidity getting filled in here, or is the target down here, the 260 contracts down here at 98? That looks better to me. But anyway, let's jump over here to gold and see what's happening. Okay, again, I don't have the higher time frame analysis in here in gold, but you see the move down here, and we've kind of remained below this 5120, and we just came up, spiked above it, and then are back down into the range here. Down below also 5100 here. There's a lot of liquidity here on the offer, but look at the divergence in here. You see this in gold though. We saw this time and time again. Again, this is like a different, it's a different animal. So the best way to start to understand it is just start by just going back and looking at the day's action. Add some more cloud data in here. And then take a look at some of this price action and what's going on in here. And when some of these moves unfold, and then you'll be a little more prepared. The best way to do is go back into that replay mode many times and replay files, so you really get a much better understanding of the way that this behaves, this instrument. Okay, so is this like a buying opportunity? I don't know. A lot of liquidity in here, a lot of buying in here. The divergence is huge. So yeah, we just traded into this high liquidity in here, 96. Also some up here at this 97.60. So I've seen this in crude more on the way up. Is a lot of selling, and then squeezes at the end. Okay, so in this case, in this one in here, I'm going to be looking for maybe we can come back and revisit this 96 area here and then break out. Yeah, so again, all of this buying in here, we should see the squeeze in here, right? Yeah, let me add in the column. Yeah, this is where like, you know, look, CVD can be really, it's especially with like a uh, more illiquid instruments. It can be very deceptive in here. In here, it's like, you know, look at the divergence between here and, you know, over here, and yet we're still going down, right? And we can just see a massive squeeze. Everyone's, oh, look at that, look at the divergence, a lot of buyers, everything, and then look at, there'll just be like a, you know, huge squeeze back down into swing low here. uh, yeah, in fact, I just kind of prefer to just take it off. I know it's going to be divergent. We know it's going to be divergent in here because you know that all that buying in here, yet we're going lower, or, you know, kind of a lower area in here. It's got to be divergent. Hey, but if we can get back up above this 96 up here, then that's something else on buying. Okay. All right, trading is life. Yeah, well, if you put in the hours and you really understand it, um, then that's excellent, and you use it. That's all I, you know, I think is needed. Like if you really understand it, just to go off it as a signal though, like I think is very dangerous. And very misleading. It's like doing a MACD crossover or something. Oh, look, crossed over, I should get in. I just prefer, and for clarity's sake, to look at the order flow, to tell us. Look at the context of the order flow. It's going to give you basically the same idea. like right in here, this is going to be divergent in here. Okay, why? Because look at all that buying, and look how much selling is in here. This is like a low volume pullback here. Okay, below this little area in here, and we get buying coming back in. Okay, not bad. So here we'll verify it. There's our divergence right there. Right, but you know that. You know that because of all this cluster of buying. Now this is where it gets really tricky though. Okay, there's buying, but there's sellers in here getting filled. Okay, question is there more aggressive buying? Okay, because if you don't, this is where CVD can really, I think, indicators really don't give you a very clean picture. If we look at CVD, yeah, we don't understand all of this, you know, passive accumulation in here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sounds good. Trading is life. I'm not um, trying to. I'm just not trying to say like you know, oh, you know, you don't know what you're doing, or you know, or giving. I'm not being critical here. All I'm trying to say is if you have studied it and you know it, and you've integrated it, and you use it in a way that it works for you, that is a big difference between like reading a trading book or watching a YouTube video and then trading it based off of someone's setup. Okay, you haven't gone through and back tested it, and you don't know. And in fact, just you know, that's one of the reasons why I haven't done that work on the CVD. So I don't know. And instead, though, I do know this. Like I know that there's you know, selling over here. I know this is going to be divergent in here, and we're at a swing down here. And if I do see buyers come back in, I would look for them to revisit these buyers or clusters up here in this high liquidity in here. That I know. And if it's divergent as well, okay, good. You know, that's the way I look at it. And we get more buyers. Great. Coming back in, and we broke this level in here. Hey, pilot program guys, I do have some replay files for you with a continuation trade. I promised I would deliver this week. I'm kind of I'm not going to give them out yet. I'm just going to I will though later in the week. Okay. And coaches, I might want to meet with you guys first and show it to you guys, and kind of bounce it around a little bit, so that you guys can you know, be first and give some feedback, which I think would be great. It's such an easy setup. I mean, yeah, I have to say I'm very glad though that we went over the trendline break accumulation trade earlier. I'll repeat all of this, I'm sure, many times, but just to understand passive accumulation is so critical, and Bookmap does such a good job at giving you that insight, and then it makes this flag pattern or continuation pattern very easy. In fact, you can even look at areas like where was this kind of reversal taking place? How much more do we have left in this potential move in a move up? You know, putting that context together is really important. This move here is an order flow event of just a book sweep. If we get up into this 15 level here, it's a squeeze. Yeah. Thanks, Trading His Life. Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody who, and I know I'm not going to offend you, but like others out there that swear by CVD or floor trader pivots or fibs or whatever, which I think Fibonacci levels are really a hoax, but there's just so many of them, and 50% level I can go with, 100% level, 50% level I can go with. Or the 200% level, but that's about it. Yeah. See how this kind of turned into, like, this. It's an order flow event. It's a squeeze, but it's really, we're not seeing that accumulation in here passively, or except over here, right? And that's significant. Like this over here, now we still see some more buying pressure. Now we're looking for sellers though, and retrade back down to exactly here, 6,700, and maybe through it. And if they have more selling pressure to trade to high liquidity, maybe down here at 92 at the swing here, and looking for a squeeze down to the downside. Okay, a lot of buying in here. Interesting. Let's jump back into crude and see what's happening here. Okay, well, that's clearly a squeeze and a move up in that 101. We never got back up above. We went back below it here. So now we're seeing the squeeze to the downside and hitting all of these levels in here. This was the second scenario of coming back down into this 99.50. There was like what, 200 contracts down here. Yeah, 250 contracts down here. We just traded into that, and even further into 97. Yeah, let me show something DNT had mentioned in here. Pretty good. The about CVD. So I mean, look, I'll cover it with you guys, and maybe this helps. And we'll do it with crude oil here, I think. Or maybe gold. Now let's just be simple. I'm going to cover it here with the S&P. You're going to see like these kinds of moves even better with CVD. You're going to get more divergence, I imagine, because the thinner markets and the volume that picks up. So let's go to CVD here. It's not here, it's over here. Yeah. Okay. So what DNT is talking about, we've had this for the longest time. I mean, I think actually when CVD first came out, we had this. Is a filter, and we can create multiple CVD lines in here. So this is the the line that I have in here, I can add another one here. Okay, let's do it. We'll add it in here. I'm gonna call it large traders. Okay, we can put in a different color for it. We're going to take a look at it with a different color. Then this is the filter here. It's going to be first we got our colors. Let's create it. Okay, and now you can see there's another line in here. Right now it's covering the other line, that our other CVD over here, because it's the same. But this is where we're going to make it different, is we're going to filter it here. What's the minimum accountable volume size in here? So a volume of 1? No, we're gonna make it like at least 5. I want to go with chart range, and I should be able to. Should show it right next to it, not do this. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to take stops and icebergs off for the moment. That might help. Okay, well, no, I guess this is the case. So, the blue line down here is CVD for every single contract. Actually, maybe we can even do a better job. Go back to this one, right? And minimum accountable size in here is just 1. Okay, so that means 1 contract, and then that's for smaller traders. Our larger traders in here are 5 or greater in terms of transaction. Okay, and then you can start to maybe you want to put in 10, right, on volatile days. Maybe you want to put in less, 3 and above, something like that. Okay, so the minimum size has to be 3 contracts that traded. So you can start to track like larger players versus smaller players in here. Okay, see how larger players are starting to kind of, let's just zoom in a little bit more. Starting to taper off a little bit. Okay, so that might give you insight. Then, okay, larger players are not interested in here. Look, be careful. Develop your strategy, back test it many times over. Many times. This is the way to go. Use that replay mode, and just like we do in the pilot program. And then you can build out your edge. All right, so we're trading up into high liquidity, up in these levels, up in here. If we're not seeing larger players coming in CVD here, then I would look for more sellers to start to come in and drop price back down into lower levels. Okay, now this is going to be a good one in here because we have this 67.15, 13, and 12 here of high liquidity. And we first want to see this absorbed in here, and then we want to look for some divergence between the 2 CVD lines in here. Okay, there we go. This is the line I needed to use the same scale for all indicators. I want to deselect that one. Now I can compare them very clearly, closely. Okay, there's our absorption, right? Okay, let me go back in here. I'm going to boost this one up, the large traders, to 5. And let's see what we get here. Marco, is it possible to translate it into Portuguese? Yeah. In fact, Marco, you might want to come over to our Discord channel. We have 4 different Brazilian traders over here. in Portuguese. So yeah, that's a good thing for you. All right, now let's see here. Are we seeing more aggressive sellers in here? Not one lots, but like at least 5 lots. Okay, starting to hit the bid here. Okay, because we just traded into all that high liquidity. Okay, now we're looking for aggressive sellers, and we're going to look at specific aggressive sellers by larger players. Okay, see that move right there? That's not larger. It's not larger players. That's most likely a little stop run there. Okay, so that's giving us some insight. Larger players are holding. Now they're starting to buy. Just a little bit. Okay, well, this is really interesting, actually. Like, would love to see it come back up here and then see more aggressive buyers on this CVD, the green one, and then we can get another squeeze up to the upside, meaning these sellers in here will have to feel the pain and maybe flip out on the way back up. Let's see if we get it here. This is where we're looking for. See this that buying coming in here. This is aggressive accumulation in here. Okay, let's see if we can get some more in here. And we want to see big green dots now. Nope. See how they haven't been shaken out yet. These well, at least we're not seeing. It's hard to say who's getting shaken or whatever, but like, I mean, this move to the downside is these are one lots in here. That's for sure. And we know that. Okay, one lot right there. So all this move to the downside is one lot. Okay, but 5 and above, they're just holding in here. Okay, now let's see if they can pick it up in here, and let's see if we can get a squeeze to the upside. Yeah, see it now. There's a little bit of a bump there. Is that enough? Can we get back up to 16, 17, 18, 19, 20? Let's see. All right, you know, this is something to consider in terms of a study. Now aggressive buyers in the one lots are showing up as well. There's our spike there. Okay, now we got to break some structure though. Right, so we got back up to 16, almost to 16. We got to break the structure though. Okay, so the structure is up here at 16. We just tested 216. And let's see if we can get a squeeze here. No. Well, anyway, it's something to take a look at and study and back test because, again, I don't know, guys. This is where, for me, I like these ideas and looking into them. And there's a million ideas that you can look into and study. But it comes back down to what works for you, what gives you the clarity. And For me, something I like to look at is just understanding structure, liquidity, and transactions and the context between them. Okay, that's it. I don't have to worry about all this kind of squiggly lines back and forth and look for this and that. Like, I know there was a cluster of buying up in here. I see we're trading into high liquidity here at 10. If I see buyers come back in again and we start to break a small structure here, like here, or maybe this one here, I would look for the move back up to 16. Okay. I don't have to worry about like the squiggly lines back and forth in here. Okay. The stop runs I like a lot. Also the accumulation see, look at this isn't bad. I like seeing this. There's some accumulation from larger players down here. Okay, now I gotta see it break this like 11 here on buy volume. I gotta see it. If I don't see it, then I'm not interested. If I see it though, then yeah, I think we're gonna trade back up into maybe 16 here. Okay, do we see this transition from sell side to buy side in here? Starting to get interesting here. Okay, but yeah, it hasn't unfolded yet. Anyway, guys, we got to wrap it up here. Good to be back, and we'll do it again tomorrow. And then pilot program, guys, I'll be reaching out later this week, and we'll go through some new materials for you. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming, everybody, and we will catch up with you tomorrow, same time. Okay. Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.